And I believe we are now finally home. What is up, guys? How is everyone doing? Have you had a good weekend? I have. I've just been from the Asus ROG press event in Berlin, if you can't tell from this hat that they gave us in a goodie bag that I'm probably never going to wear in public, but yeah, it's nice to have a free hat. And this is an event that obviously Asus took me out there for. They paid for me to go to Berlin. But it was a brilliant trip, and they unveiled a load of products, and I wasn't really expecting them to, because I sort of knew a little bit beforehand that they would be unveiling a new graphics card, but I didn't know about any of the other stuff they were going to be talking about. And as someone that runs a monitor-based PC gaming channel, really, I was really pleased that they announced some new monitors and some stuff that hopefully you're going to be pretty excited about. So we will open with that, and the first thing I saw and the first thing I heard about was the new super duper ultimate monitor that I just can't wait to get in for testing. It's the most anticipated monitor, in my opinion, ever, because other than if you're an ultra wide person, it's got everything you would ever want from a monitor. So it's got HDR, it's got IPS panel with quantum dots, 4K, G-Sync, 144 Hz. Not really anything else I would want from a monitor, but obviously it may well be a load of rubbish, we don't know, but I highly doubt it. And that's coming a little bit later on in the year, but as you'll see from the interview clip in a second, it's going to be very, very expensive. So if you don't want to spend that much money, then there are two new monitors as well, and these are going to sit alongside, I believe, it maybe phase out eventually, the old ROG Swifts. And these come in a curved based package. Now, it's got RGB lighting on the back of the monitor, which is sort of like, not only do I not want RGB on my monitor, but it's sort of, I'd rather it was underneath, on the back of the monitor. Maybe it'll look cool against a wall and it'll put some glow on the wall. Actually, that might be quite cool. I hadn't really thought about that. And the cool thing about these monitors is that one of them has quantum dot technology as well. And then finally there is a new Strix monitor, so I'm pretty sure this will be a new range, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And this is a 27-inch 1080p monitor that is curved, has G-Sync, and has some pretty cool aura lighting, I think, as well. But yeah, I did get a chance to talk to the ROG person that knows everything there is to know about monitors, and I spoke to him about the new super duper UQ monitor. I wasn't expecting you to announce any new monitors, but you have. You've got two new monitors, as well as you talked as well about the ultimate gaming monitor, HDR, 144 Hz, 4K. Yep. We'll start there if we can, because to be honest with you, that is, in my opinion, the ultimate spec sheet for a monitor. It has everything you could ask for from a monitor. I can't honestly think of anything else I would want from a monitor that isn't on this one. So tell us a little bit about that, and I guess when we can expect it.
Okay. Well, I think that you said the PG27UQ. Yeah, it's a 4K 144 and support HDR and the quantum dot. It is a little bit different from other HDR monitors because we have upgrade in the brightness, contrast, and HD and color gamma. We have more than 1,000 nits, and the others panel maybe is a 300 nits. Okay, and the contrast size we have 20,000 by 1 is 4 times compared to other HDR monitors, and it was also support DCI-P3, the color gamma. So we will see the HDR, the screen, the bright things are brighter, and the dark things are darker, and both detail can be seen. So you will provide amazingly visuals to the users.
Okay, so in terms of, I guess, launching, when is this going to launch, and how much is it going to cost?
Okay, about the PG27UQ is the price will be $2,000 and the MP schedule maybe will plan in Q3 this year. Yeah.
Okay, and is there any update on pricing for Europe, so in pounds or euros, or is that coming later?
No, the same, the price.
That will be 2,000 in all territories.
Yeah.
So that was everything monitor-wise that you need to know about the show, but it wasn't just monitors that they showed off, because they also brought out a brand new 1080 Ti. Not only the Strix that we have on the shelf for review in a few days' time, but a brand new card, the Poseidon. And the 1080 Ti Poseidon is Asus's variant that can run on air or water. So if you don't really know what you want to do with your system, or you're maybe thinking you want to water cool it later, or you just want something that is ready to go out of the box and has some RGB lighting with a NZXT style mirrored effect on the RGB lighting that did actually look pretty cool. I think this is still a little bit pre-release, so the design may change when they release it, but it definitely looks like a pretty cool card, and it runs at just over 50 degrees on a 360mm rad equipped system under full load. But if you want to use air, then it's going to run very similar to a Strix cooler, but I think it will just be a few degrees higher. But obviously the Strix cooler should be significantly better than the Founders Edition anyway, so in terms of cooling, this card should have you covered. And just like monitors, I got a chance to have a chat with some of the execs about their upcoming Poseidon graphics card.
It has been 3-4 years since our previous generation, and the reason why we took so long is that we managed to improve the heat dissipation area by like 40%, and we also try to manage to increase the water flow by 20%. So in this generation of Poseidon, you could easily get a very cool and very quiet card, and you could get an amazing liquid cooling performance if you liquid cool the Poseidon cards. And the most important thing, it looks really sexy.
And how cool is that going to be running underwater?
Underwater?
Well, not underwater.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, obviously hooked up to, yeah.
That would depend on your radiator size. In our test, if you are using a big one, 36 centimeter one, it should fall into below their 50s.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so the fans wouldn't come on in that case then?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, awesome. So that was the Poseidon graphics card, which should give people more flexibility when it comes to water cooling options. But they also announced a brand new gaming router, which offers faster than gigabit speeds and should give you ridiculous coverage thanks to the quite frankly outlandish design that is very much going to be love it or hate it. There's a brand new ambidextrous mouse that is going to strengthen Asus ROG's lineup when it comes to peripherals, because they were lagging a little bit behind the competition, but they're definitely catching up a little bit now in terms of Aura Sync compatible peripherals. But then there was also some talk of motherboards. Now, motherboards are something that obviously I've covered, and there has been several launches this year with Kaby Lake and Ryzen. There wasn't really anything brand new to talk about, but I did want to talk about the whole issue surrounding Ryzen motherboards from a range of different manufacturers. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are sort of wanting to pick up Ryzen, but they're a little bit unsure when it comes to sort of stability, and they don't want to run into any teething issues. So I did ask a couple of questions about that very topic.
Hello everyone, my name is Chris Huang, and I'm in charge of ROG's motherboard.
Well, at the moment with the Ryzen launch, I know there's been a few different manufacturers that's had a few different sort of issues with not just motherboards, but like the sort of ecosystem at the moment. And I'd say I think it's fair that there is definitely some people out there that want to pick up Ryzen because of the performance, but maybe are a little bit unsure on the software side of things, or just making sure that it works without any issues at all. I guess what's Asus doing to make sure that if someone buys a Ryzen CPU and they buy an Asus motherboard, that essentially they don't need to worry, I guess?
I think for a new platform, there's always some issue in the beginning, but we're working on that. So far, we're looking at some feedback on the forum or from the media side.
Yeah.
We have the BIOS to fix that. I think we have very quick, when they issue a bug, then we can fix like within 3 days or 4 days, that depends on. But so far, the issue the known issue, actually they all have the solution.
Right. Okay.
Right now, yeah. So I think it's okay. You can just go grab AM4 motherboard and the Ryzen CPU.
So there you go. Hopefully some insight into the Ryzen platform and what Asus are doing when it comes to motherboards. And then finally there were a few other announcements more around the desktop PC side of things, as well as some Aura Sync SDK capability So they've released an SDK to third-party manufacturers, which will mean that a little bit later down the line we might get Aura Sync compatibility from things like games. If there was a way to almost sync it to your Philips Hue or your LIFX bulbs, that would be amazing. But I didn't actually ask them about that. I probably should have done. That's probably quite a good idea, mate. I'll remember that. But then there were also some desktop PCs, so like a replacement for the GR8 Asus Mini PC, among a few others, including a new Powered by Asus scheme, which means if you buy a PC from a third-party system builder that builds a system, if it's got this Powered by Asus badge on it, it's going to mean that Asus approve of it, and that hopefully you're not going to get some dodgy power supply or dodgy hard drives that are going to slow the whole system down. And there we go, that was my little trip to Berlin. I hope you've enjoyed this video, hope you've enjoyed this coverage. Do stay tuned for the 4 interviews that I've got coming up in the next day or so. It's going to be a slightly longer video, it'll probably be around about 20-25 minutes, but there's quite a few interesting questions there, including some insight into the problems that's happening with those AHVA based monitors from every single manufacturer, so why we've got these backlight bleed and panel uniformity issues. I did get some insight on that, so please do check that video out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you haven't, then give it a dislike. Subscribe for more videos like this and the reviews of all those monitors, including that godly monitor, the HDR UQ monitor. I can't wait for that. I can't stress that enough. And once again, I must thank you to Asus, obviously, for sponsoring the trip, sort of taking me out there. Always appreciated. Massive thanks to you guys once again. I'll see you in the next video. So yeah, it was a great event, and thanks to Anthony as well, who sorted that all out.